50,000 students, about 3,000 teachers, and 116 principals. In the best cases, principals are the glue of the school. Most of us as building leaders have experienced informal mentoring, and it has its benefits. But if we're going to get to next in our district, we needed this process to become less arbitrary and more systematic in the way that we think about how we're grooming our emerging leaders. Everything rises and falls on leadership.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Very cool. And you guys are all working on your own?
Yeah.
Very nice. The little hand should be where?
6 issues, 1 or 2 that you can fix fairly quickly.
That's a good way to think about it.
That way they can prove to themselves that they're right and this is what it looks like.
That's a good idea.
Accountability line.
What I look for is if a student is not reading on grade level, are there comments addressing what we've done and what parents can do to get them back on grade level?
Good.
I'd like him to remain at school if I can get him calmed down.
I think your reasoning was good.
Go guys, you're gonna be late. You know what happens when you're late?
Thinking about how you would frame your questions so that they have to come up with more of the answer versus you providing so much.
In your words, what's going on, so I can hear from you. But there had to be a reason. Why did we decide to push each other? Okay, let's go, gentlemen. Thank you. Any trends right here from the pre-assessment data? Because there's one question that I know that I had. I really want them thinking about what's the inverse operation here to solve, so.
And that's one of our focuses on the
Okay,
board.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Talk to me about how you got them from going from being resistant. And now I see a lot of buy-in.
When you have a pre-assessment of 26 kids in the red, and then you have a post-assessment with only 4 kids left in the red, that rewarding feeling that I really moved these kids. I think that's really why they took ownership of it.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Offer him a suggestion of how that review for a test that may be tomorrow or Friday could look different when we're looking at Common Core.
Is this your handwriting here? Very nice. So what are you learning about?
We're learning about atmosphere.
Atmosphere?
What I liked there was that he was taking an English strategy that we're using school-wide of summarizing and incorporating into a science classroom.
Noah, shirt. Ronnie, how you doing?
I'm tucking in my shirt. I don't even call
All right, all right. How you doing, Kenny?
One of your strengths is that relationship piece with staff and our scholars. I'm definite with that.
This is our 8th grade math. They are doing a project where they're creating their own amusement park.
Lazy River.
Okay.
And then our hotel will be over here.
Oh, so you got a hotel connected.
Yeah.
How did you guys come up with the idea of having it how you guys have it?
So were you able to kind of get some evidence from the boys on the specific things that were being targeted within the activities or the lessons?
Yeah, where to put certain areas and, you know, the dimensions and the numbers behind that,
right,
and how everything has to add up and so forth.
The collection of your data, the storage of your data binder. You must have your data binder, you know, that you can go to. And I don't know if you had that. Is that correct?
I had parts of that.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, yeah, that's.
I mean, you're going to be called upon.
Yeah.
You know, instructional leader, you need to make sure that you have that stuff available and that it's organized for you.
The one thing that I've really learned, that it was almost like an eye-opening experience, was how the boys respond to getting awards. For example, our Night of Excellence. Awesome. It's a great event. It's a great event.
Now, I'm curious, man, as to what's going to be your role at that next level for that.
My mentor, Elaine Bell, taught me you improve staff by lifting them up and not beating them down.
Jerry McAfee taught me to always lead with transparency.
Drill Sergeant Martinez, 1987. Flexibility is the key, people.
Stan Embry taught me to be passionate about the work every day.
Dr. Dolores Green taught me to find the good in every person.
Carolyn Hughes taught me to base every decision on what is best for children.
Marge Brady, my mother, taught me to love unconditionally.
My mentors taught me how to be a risk taker. They gave me room and space to make mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes.
But after those failures, we would sit and talk, and she would ask, Alicia, what would you do differently? And when I would articulate that to her, then she'd say, guess what? I need you to do it again.
Probably one of my most recent mentors taught me to be genuine and to be gracious.
One of my first mentors was my father, who was also an elementary school principal. He was a gentleman who listened well, but held high expectations for everybody in his building.
A great principal does not look at the students as a label or a diagnosis. They look at each student as an individual.
I believe a great principal is well organized, very hands-on.
A great principal is very motivational.
Is a good listener and knows how to solve problems.
Someone who cares for the students and also interacts with them.
Kind and sweet and brings people in on the hook and sends them to the office.
A great principal is someone who makes sure that all their students are on the path that they should be.
I think what makes a great principal is someone who knows exactly what they want their school to be.
Oh, that makes you feel so bad, doesn't it? Can I wipe your face for you?
So what's at stake here?
I don't know what to do.
What's at stake is the integrity of the work that we do, of the profession that we've chosen to serve in.
When you're right in the midst of it, it's emotional and it's hard, and those are the days where you think, am I doing the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Candace, she gets it. She's been there. She may have the same deadline or email that I just got. She may not be as emotional as I am because she's had that email like 20 times throughout her career. It really makes a difference because we can't do this job alone.
The skills I gained, questioning techniques, reflection techniques, current research that the NAESP person brought, Karen McClellan gave us, those pieces are so important. And there's a reason there's research behind it.
And not just giving answers. You don't need to fix everything, but it's more about that coaching piece and helping them to become good thinkers. He also helped me reflect upon why I do what I do and understand, like, does that make sense? Or does that not make sense why I'm doing that?
Am I engaging with the stakeholders? Am I looking at instruction? Hearing from my colleagues that were in my cohort, some of the things that they were doing in their building really gives you an understanding of what's going on in buildings other than yours. It helps you to build your capacity as a leader.
I think that part of it for Columbus is that we are building trust and that we can call someone up and ask them for help.
I believe we need to give ourselves permission to take the time to really gain the most from each experience we have in that journey, and also to stretch ourselves to a transformative leadership model. That's the power, the mentorship.
We are Columbus City Schools.
We are Columbus City Schools.
I am a proud parent of a Columbus City School student.